Hi everyone! So we're all obviously heading towards lockdown because of the corona. And I thought you might like it if I entertained you again, as I did when I was doing Miles for Refugees, if some of you remember back in September. What set me off thinking about this is my dear friends Ryan and Stacey. They are stuck in quarantine. And Stacey texted me this morning, and it really made me chuckle because she got her delivery from Morrison's, kindly dropped off by her friend. And in it, instead of the vegetables she'd ordered, they'd just replace everything with carrots. So she sent me a rescue text this morning saying, "What can I do with all these carrots?" And I gave her some ideas. I said, like, soup would be good. Spiralising it and making noodles or spaghetti would work. But also, like, you could matchstick it or julienne it and put it in stir fries. And I said, well, later on today, when I get round to it, I'll send some recipes in your direction. But she then fired back at me and said, "How do you matchstick things?" So I said, "I'll send you a video." And rather than just send it directly, I thought, well, I'll just put it on Instagram and just play around. It's not something I've ever done before. People might think it's really rubbish, so I might not do it again. But I just thought I'd give it a go. So, I have a carrot. I don't know if I can flip my thing around for you. Or maybe not, no. I have a carrot somewhere. It's peeled. I'll put my video there, like so. So, I peeled my carrot. I've got an awesome little peeler that I actually won on a Christmas quiz of crap prizes. And it's just really sharp and it's really good. Here are my peelings. Obviously, in these times of desperation, you could keep your peelings for stock or soup or something like that. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do, so I'm basically just going to put them on this plate for now. So, julienning something, or in layman's terms, matchsticking it, is just like creating really thin little matchstick shaped pieces of vegetables. If you want to be flash and a proper chef, then you would like basically have it to a certain length and a certain width and a certain thickness. But at the end of the day, we're just cooking at home, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Unless you live with a person who's really pedantic and measures their dinner, which you probably don't. So we're just going to work to just a rough measurements that work for us and work for me. But basically, that's better, isn't it? Take your carrot. I like to top and tail it first. That just works for me. Oh, 1 second. Make sure you have put a nice damp cloth under your board. If all this is rocket science, I'm sorry, but I think it's all helpful. Nice damp cloth under your board stops it slipping, stops it moving, stops you cutting your fingers, which, another side note, very important, you're using a massive knife, a great big chef's knife. It will take your fingers off if you're not careful. The sharper your knife is, the better. If it's blunt and you cut yourself, it's going to be really messy and really bloody. If it's sharp, it's going to normally be like a finer, cleaner slice. If anybody's familiar with my Instagram, you might have seen before that I have chopped my top of my finger off in a Magimix. Obviously that's not the knife that did that, but yeah, just be careful of your fingers because you can't really see, but basically I have a lovely diagonal angle on top of one of my fingers, and I currently on another finger, my index finger, I don't know if you can see, but I've chopped a lovely great big chunk of nail off, which is nice, isn't it? So just safety warning, be careful, and obviously don't chuck your knife arm around all over the place, because you might catch somebody who could be floating around behind you. So I topped and tailed our carrot, it's all peeled. Now, it's not a massive carrot, so I would say probably for the sake of this, just chop it in half. Again, if you want to be chefy about it, you would just cut down the sides of your carrot, take off the edges, and square it off. Not only is that quite like, we'll keep it really neat, so you get a really square carrot basically. Not only will it keep it really neat, but it will help you balance it on your board and make it easier to cut. But however, you do end up with a load of wasted carrot there. So either again use that for stock or for soup, or I would just use that as part of your julienne and just use it in your dinner. Or equally, if you're hungry, with mac on it, because it's delicious. So we've boxed off our first carrot. Basically, you're then just going to keep slicing it, like so, into, I'd say that's probably 1/2 centimetre. Go thinner if you want, thicker if you want. You're not cooking for some fancy restaurant, you're cooking your dinner. It doesn't really matter. And then once you've got your slices of carrot, like that, I would stack them up as high as you're willing to go, if you're not scared. And then just start slicing. I'd probably go for 3 actually, rather than 4. Let's not get out of hand. Just start on the flat side of it, slicing it into matchsticks, like so. These are probably a little thick. Could go a bit thinner. If you find that you've cut too thick, I would just separate them. Separate your stack, so you're just doing one individual slice at a time, and just cut it a little bit thinner. Whatever works for you. If you don't like stacking it, obviously just do it one at a time. Easier to do it a bit quicker then, I think, as well, if you've got a lot to do maybe. And there, that's all it is. And that is julienning. Got a nice thin matchstick ready for your stir fry, or some people like matchsticks in their salads, or maybe if you wanted to cook it with some fish, you could use this to cook your fish on top of in a papillote. So wrapping your fish in some greaseproof paper over the top of a bed of veg works. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So I'll put this out there. I'll see if anyone likes it. If no one's interested, I won't carry on, because, you know, I don't want to spend all afternoon chopping carrots or anything like that. But yeah, I may see you again. Bye. Oh, and stay safe out there, and stay at home. Seriously.